What's up, everybody? It's Monday, and Mondays were meant for crushing. Let's get it. Today we are talking about somebody that is known quite far and wide, and his name is Robert Kiyosaki. I think I said his name right. I don't ever think I've actually said his name out loud. I've just always heard other people say it. I think I said it right, Robert Kiyosaki. I think so. He had this to say: if you are the kind of person who is waiting for the right thing to happen, you might wait for a long time. The reason why that speaks to me is because what he's saying is what many of us do. Particularly as a content creator, I find that I'm often waiting to do things because of gear that I don't have. And that has been a struggle of mine since I figured that I liked taking photos and doing YouTube videos and all these things, that I needed this and I needed that and I needed this and I need that. But the reality is, the only thing that I need is an idea. Before we jump into this video, I would like for you to please like this video. You know, it just lets YouTube know that this video is pretty good and they'll promote it to others. So I would really appreciate that. And if you feel inspired with whatever I'm talking about today, then go ahead and comment as well. And if you're liking the things that you're seeing, and if you are like, wow, this is amazing, which I hope you do, then consider subscribing. Appreciate you, and thank you in advance. The tools help me execute the idea better, but it doesn't stop me from executing the idea. And the best advice I can give to anybody that is just starting this YouTube journey, or is a photographer, or is a content creator, a filmmaker, whatever you are, is to start where you are. Don't wait to get things in order to start doing things, but start where you are. And I mean, I've added a couple of things to my toolkit as I've grown, and I have seen the need for certain tools to be in my camera bag. However, I started with pretty much nothing. And it grew from there. Yeah, I just feel that we have this idea that until we have everything perfect, we cannot move forward. Maybe I'm projecting. Maybe you don't feel this way at all. Maybe it's just me, that sometimes I find myself waiting to do things because I don't feel I'm ready to do it as yet. And this quote in particular spoke to me because I'm done waiting for things. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have a plan to get things done. But what I am saying is that you shouldn't wait around just because you feel incapable, just because you feel you don't have the necessary tools to accomplish what is in your head. But find creative ways of getting done what you want to accomplish. That's what I try and do on a weekly basis, on a daily basis. Actually, I try and find ways to handle business. I try and find ways to still be the creative Daniel that I have been made to be, even though I feel inadequate. I recently found out that there is this thing called the imposter syndrome, and I just want to look it up real quick for you so you can get an idea of what it's about in case you've never heard of it before. And this is what it says. It's a psychological pattern in which an individual doubts their skills, talents, or accomplishments and has a persistent internalized fear of being exposed as a fraud. And I did not know that so many people that are around me struggle with this. This is not my personal struggle. However, I can see how it can be a struggle. An example would be, I call myself a photographer, but when I go online and I see some of the great pictures from photographers, I start to feel inferior. I start to feel like maybe I'm not good enough and things of that nature. But that isn't a thought that I internalize and then think that others may expose me for a fraud, but that just pushes me to grow. And I totally understand how somebody can suffer from imposter syndrome because it's scary stuff. when you claim to be something, but your skills aren't necessarily cutting edge as yet. I really do think that something that could help somebody that struggles with imposter syndrome is being okay with the level that they are at and not comparing themselves to where others are. Yeah, I think that's the best thing that somebody can internalize, is telling yourself that you're growing and it's okay. There are going to be people that are better than you, but they once were terrible as well. But the one thing that I have found that with anybody that truly is successful, even if they didn't go to school to be a photographer or a videographer or a filmmaker or anything of that nature, is that they did not wait. They didn't wait to call themselves a photographer when they were the best and their pictures are being shared all over Instagram. They didn't wait to call themselves a filmmaker when they're making grainy sorry, I couldn't say that with a straight face. They were making grainy videos and commercials and it wasn't so great. The scenes weren't the best. The transitions were terrible. All of that. They didn't wait to call themselves a filmmaker just because they weren't the industry's best. However, they called themselves filmmakers. They called themselves photographers. They called themselves content creators and then worked their butt off. And if you want to beat imposter syndrome, work your butt off. If you are tired of waiting, guess what? The only way you can truly deal with that tiredness of being in a holding pattern is to work your butt off. Yeah, and that's all I have for you. Honestly, work your butt off. And that's what I'm doing. And these videos are supposed to be specific for the week. So what is something that you want to accomplish this week that you have been waiting on? I want you to write that in the comments. I want you to share that with all of us here that is watching, that is commenting, all of that. What is something that you have been waiting to do because you feel like you're inadequate, you feel like you don't have the tools or anything of that nature? What is it? It's actually very simple, but it's hard because you actually have to deal with the thoughts that are bouncing around up here. So you're not an imposter, you're not a fraud, you are growing, and that is okay. Anyway, that's all for me today. If this is something that blessed your spirit, go ahead and like this. If this is something that you want to keep up with, go ahead and smash that subscribe button, blow it up, people's elbow it, and all of that great stuff. And if you want to get an alert of when the next episode comes out, go ahead and hit that bell as well. Please do. But until the next video, which is Thursday, go ahead and crush today.